It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish, and I am the founder of the Divas That Care Network. You know what? I'm just always so excited when I have the opportunity to interview brand new people to our program. I just get really excited because I can't wait to hear a little bit about them and to, really support them out there and what they're doing. I'm going to be introducing you all to Anna Maria. Okay, here we're going to try Michelina. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Anna Maria Michelina.
Michelina. Oh, my goodness. I am just so excited to have you on my program today. You have an amazing story that I am excited to learn more about. Like, I had the opportunity to read about it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, I'm going to go out and get it myself. But before we kind of get started, would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself?
Yes. As you said, my name is Anna. I am a mother. I am a physician. I'm a cardiac anesthesiologist. I put people to sleep for a living. I'm a blogger, and I'm a newly minted author. And my cause is surviving your childhood. And I'm sure you and your guests have all heard that, a good childhood is a treasure, and that having a good childhood protects against life's challenges as adults. So, I've always wondered, where does that leave those of us whose childhood wasn't a treasure but a nightmare? So as someone who endured a difficult childhood, I really want to facilitate, the healing and uplifting of all those who basically their parents failed to protect them when they were children. So this is what I want to focus my efforts from this point onwards. And I have some tools based on my experience and what I have discovered in my journey that I would like to share today.
Oh, my goodness. And I love that because it's something that I love that you're open about that and you're wanting to support others in that endeavor. So, yes, I would love to hear more about some of the tips and tools that you can maybe share with us. And I'd also love to learn about the book that you have written. It is absolutely extraordinary. I was doing the read up when I was posting it onto our website because what I wanted to do is post Anna Maria's amazing book on the Divas page because it was so powerful. And just that beginning part of it brought me, this feeling inside me that I really wanted to share it with all of you today. So if you don't mind, yes, let's get started with that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you grew up in a dysfunctional, emotionally, like I say, wounding environment, and if you continue, especially now that we're all, in lockdown because of the virus, to be a part of such household that now, as an adult, there are some points that you can adopt just to navigate, your emotional difficulty. And first of all, I like to remind everybody that there are many types of emotional abuse. And the first thing that comes to mind when we hear childhood emotional abuse is physical abuse. And of course, no one should endure that. There's also abandonment. That is a form of emotional abuse, be it physical, like your father left or your mother left, or they were simply physically there, but they were not emotionally there, and your needs went unmet. That is a form of emotional abuse. And finally, I want to get to verbal abuse, which is very common. And it's extremely damaging. It really demoralizes a child as a human being because it really knocks down your self-esteem. A special type of emotional abuse, which I endured, is when your parents suffer mental illness or show traits of mental imbalance. My book, Secrets at the Big House, Overcoming the Damage of a Narcissistic Mother and an Emotionally Absent Father, deals with that. It's my story. It's written like a novel. It's a quick read, but it does give you, it tells you a story, and it kind of gives you an insight of what I went through and why I want to share all this with you. A narcissistic parent will always come first and the child last. It's all about their interests and about their immediate gratification and satisfaction. And a borderline parent is even worse, particularly if it's the mother who carries the diagnosis. And I want to clarify what a borderline personality disorder patient acts like. They're extremely sensitive to outside environment. They have a really mistaken perception of, the people around them and what's going on. They fear separation, they fear rejection, and they have really huge changes in how they view themselves. This makes them very intense. They, in their personal relationships, they alternate between idealizing you or, not paying any attention to you. They have inappropriate, very intense anger, and they have, recurrent suicidal attempts or recurrent threats of suicidal attempt. So imagine what that does to the personality of a child, especially in the forming years. I learned personally a distorted view of the world through the eyes of my borderline mother. And what you learn when you have parents who have been mentally touched is what you develop is what they call complex personality, post-traumatic stress disorder. What do I mean by that? It's basically disabling anxiety and depression. And it all comes out in the form of distorted thinking. You think that everybody is out to get you. You're permanently in a defensive mode. And you speak and act without thinking. And through the years, I've experienced I've done a lot of damage to a lot of people because of my anger and my defensiveness. So the tools to avoid this damage, first to survive yourself, from your childhood, and to avoid hurting your relationships, because the most important thing that we have is, our relationships to others. That's what makes our lives complete. So what can you do to heal yourself? Number one, most importantly, you have to set boundaries with the abusive parent. If you have to go no contact for a while, do it. And no contact means blocking them on your phone for as long as you need. You are the one who places the call or the video call or the text, so you control the interaction, the time and the length of the conversation. So that's number one, set boundaries. And you have to accept that your relationship with the abusive parent may never be a normal relationship, as we all know it. It's painful, but when you accept, it's freedom. That's why.
Oh my goodness, Anna! Sorry to interrupt you. I just have a question for you. I'd never heard of this before, and the reason why is I think that there's a lot of things that we do talk about out there, and I'm finding this quite fascinating. I know there's probably some people out there. How do you find out if you're in this type of relationship? Then, want to kind of dive back. Did you go to see some counseling? Did you have to do something? Because I know that there's a lot of us that are thinking, oh my goodness, I know somebody like that now, and I never thought of it before.
I have read a lot in my life. That's been the pillar of my healing. I'm a reader, and I've read all kinds of self-help books on the subject, and abuse and emotional diminishing. So my parents have been diagnosed. Number one, that doesn't take away my pain. That doesn't take away what I went through or my lacks. But reading has helped me in my healing journey, number one. And then number two, I am a spiritual person and I pray a lot. And I believe there's guidance at all times. And I have prayed a lot throughout my life. And then number 3, the listeners may ask, did you have a child? Were you able to become a mother? Were you scared? And I was terrified. I was terrified because I thought that I didn't have it in me to do the right things by my son. I have one son, he's 16. And I asked a lot of questions, and I always listened to advice. I was never shy or embarrassed about asking questions, silly questions. But the silliest questions is the one that we don't ask. So, I was lucky enough through my praying and through, God sending me people that were more knowledgeable in, bringing up children, that, today my son is emotionally stable. And I'm super proud of that. That's my joy in life, and he's my masterpiece. That coming from where I came from,
I love that.
I was able to give him stability. So basically, I read a lot and I prayed. To answer your question.
You know what? I love that. And thank you so much for sharing that and being honest with us, because I think that's the scariest thing. We talk about the journeys that we've all been on, and it's who it makes us today, the people that we are today. And sometimes we wonder how we get there. And I know that for myself, there's been different things that I've gone through too. And it's a difficult thing to share with others, because sometimes you don't know how others are going to treat you, how they're going to react to you, but you don't know, like you were saying, am I able to have children? Am I able to give them that relationship? Am I going to mess it up? And it sounds like you've done an extraordinary job. And thank you so much. I appreciate that so much for you sharing that today.
Thank you. And I also want to stress the importance of being aware of distorted thinking. Because like I said before, the post-traumatic stress disorder that we as, emotionally abused children suffer, we're always on the defensive. We think people are out to get us. So we are unnecessarily aggressive. And remember, you can ruin a relationship in seconds with what comes out of your mouth, and you're not able to take it back. So you have to be aware that the thoughts that you may be thinking are not real, and they're preconditioned from the state of anxiety that you have been in for many years, and it's not the truth, and people are not out to get you. Think before you speak. That's been huge. That has been huge for me. Thinking before speaking. Distorted thinking is real in people who have been abused. So that's another point that I want to stress.
Like that, and I think it's important, and it's something. I stress it to my children every day. You know what? Make sure that you think before you speak, because you don't know what your words are going to do to somebody else. And
yes.
Just saying it in so many different contexts. I think everybody needs to be aware of that, and especially nowadays. There's just so much going on in the world, and sometimes people are saying things that they should maybe have not said at that point in time, and just waited and really thought about that. So I love that advice. I really do.
Yeah, it's very, very valid advice, for everyone, all ages. Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
So
yes.
Question that I have for you, Anna, you've got your book that you wrote, and you're still a cardiac anesthesiologist, and you've got a lot of stuff on your plate. Can I ask you, I know that your passion is because you wanted to share the story. Are you going to be developing more stories in the future? Are you going to because that would be absolutely fantastic. Are you looking at expanding perhaps your practice? What are you thinking of doing in the future?
Well, actually, a lot of people have asked me to write more. They want to know more about what happened in my life. The book is the first 30 years. So I'm a little bit older than 30. So people are actually looking for a second part. I'm not ready yet. I do have a blog, and I write, I post frequently about things that I think will benefit everyone. Like my latest post is on, the art of creating energy and healing through physical fitness, through exercise. That has played a huge part in my life and my healing journey. So for the time being, I will continue contributing to my blog. And also, there are two big charities that I contribute to. One is Voices for Children, and it's basically based on benefiting children that are in foster care, children that age out of foster care. And the biggest thing is to be a guardian ad litem. That's someone who represents the child legally and has the best interest, the child's best interest, at hand. They go with them to, court proceedings. Okay. They make sure that the kid doesn't get lost in the legal system. So my plan is when I retire, I want to be a guardian ad litem to really serve these children.
Oh.
Also, for your listeners, whenever you buy Amazon Smile, so instead of just Amazon Prime, Amazon Smile, Amazon donates 0.5% of the price to Voices for Children. So it's
I love that.
It's a thought for anyone who's listening and anyone who can identify with this, not perfect childhood. There's a lot of kids suffering out there who are not going to get adopted. So personally, this is my favorite charity, and also it's a 4-star charity. And the Charity Navigator, which means that 80% of all expenditure goes actually to the services. So I will continue working, and donating for Voices for Children. And then my other charity is Boys Town. Boys Town is actually bigger because it not only does it focus on, saving the children, but also healing their family. So they have group homes, they have in-home family services, they have parenting classes, behavioral health services. They have a hotline for counseling or for, parenting advice. And they're not only taking care of the child, but they're also to improve the environment that child is going to go back to, once the crisis is no longer. So basically they don't give up on children, and, they want to give them a second chance and hold them in their homes before just dropping them into the, foster care system. So those are the charities that touch me. And if it moves you, if it strikes a chord with you, Voices for Children or Boys Town, consider them.
I love that. And you know what? I'm going to be posting their social media links also on our Facebook, because I think, or not just on our Facebook, but in our social media, because I think it's really important to learn about that. And we love learning about different organizations out there. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
They do a fantastic job.
And it was Boys Town?
Boys Town and Voices for Children.
Voices for Children. I've got that one. Perfect. Well, Anna, how can our listeners check you out? If they want to get a hold of you, if they want to read your blog or to buy your book, is there a place where they can go?
Yes, my blog is annamariamd.com. It's very simple. Annamaria, one N, MD.com. And then my book is on Amazon, Secrets at the Big House. You can get the paperback or the ebook.
The ebook, exactly. And you know what? One of the things that we're really trying to promote in the last few months, too, is about books, because a lot of people are at home now and they are spending more time. So instead of spending all the time on watching television, why don't you pick up a great book? So we're so excited that you are our guest today, because I really believe in promoting books on our program, because I think more people need to go out there and read. So, Anna, I've had such a great time. Is there any last-minute things you'd love to share with our listeners today?
Never underestimate the power of divine guidance in your life. That would be my thing to say. I could have never overcome the things that I've overcome without having God in my life. That's my final message.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that, and I'm a big believer in that also. All right. Well, thank you so much, Anna. I really had a great time. I hope that you come back on our program and share with us more things, and especially if you've decided to go on to your next book. You know what? We would love to have you on our program to share about that.
Thank you so much, Candace, for inviting me. This has been a great conversation. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And you know what, to all of our listeners, thank you so much. I'm going to be posting all of Anna's social media stuff on our website, on all of our social media links. But also, if you want to check out her podcast is actually going to be on so many different platforms. We're not just on SoundCloud and Spotify, but we are on iTunes and Stitchers and Mixcloud now, and there's a lot of them. So make sure you pass them on to your friends and family. I think this is an important show to share. She's talking about a lot of things from rejection and abuse, and I think it's really important to, if you've got some family and friends that I think that would love this book, to be honest. I just think that this is a book that needs to be read, and I'm going to be trying to share it with as many people as I can. Again, I want to thank you all out there. It's because of all of you amazing listeners that we've continued to do the Divas That Care programs for 10 years now, and we do have 15 other hosts. So make sure you check out all those amazing women out there, listen to their shows, and support them. You can do that by going to divasthatcare.com. I hope that all of you have a wonderful day. I know that Canada Day was yesterday, so a big happy Canada Day for all those Canadians listening, and a big happy 4th of July to all of our American friends that tune into our program. I hope that you guys spend a lot of time with your family and friends this year. All right. Until next time, do something kind for somebody. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.